remember, boys and girls, that it's okay to challenge the thoughts in your head. Okay, what I mean by this is that sometimes there are things that are given to us, thoughts that we create because somebody said something or somebody did something, and it created this belief in our deep subconscious mind. Now, part of my healing journey has been to challenge those thoughts. Okay? So, like right now, I figured out, I found this little voice, this belief that if I eat food, I'm gonna get fat. And it's a weird belief, right? Because it's like, you're not gonna get fat if you eat food. It's if you eat the wrong foods and if you eat too much of it and, you know, all of this stuff. But it was a belief that was created because I had so many things that were affecting the way that I looked at my body and the way that I looked at food, and not to, like, even just the mere fact of I had a parental figure. I had a mom who would constantly tell me I was fat, who would constantly say, you know, you look fat in that, or, you know, you're getting fat, or, you know, you look fat when you sit that way, or whatever. Like, she would always constantly nitpick at how I looked. So with that, and then the whole, like, all of Hollywood and all of that, you know, shaping how I viewed my body. And so, like, I've had this intense body dysmorphia, and I've struggled with, you know, how I look, because I know I'm not fat, but I fear being fat. Also in the context of my mother was overweight, and so, like, I didn't want to look like her. I didn't want to be like her. And so I would try so hard not to be like her. So I would calorie restrict, and, like, eating 1,000 calories a day, doing high intensity workout, high intensity interval training, and doing running for like an hour, all in the same day. Like, I was going above and beyond. I was like, no, I will not. And taking supplements to, like, prevent myself. And then, going on the other side of the spectrum in the fact that I was a huge alcoholic, and so I gained a lot of weight. And so I struggled with shame and, you know, being overweight and, you know, just guilt and all of that stuff for not working out anymore and not doing all that I thought I should be doing. Then struggling with drug addiction, where I did lose a lot of weight, but it wasn't in a good way, you know. So all these things, and then, like, quitting drugs, and when you quit drugs, then you become a food addict, which is something that happens because you replace your drug addiction with a food addiction because you're still trying to cope with your feelings in a whole different way. So you're just replacing it. And so, like, it's just this there was this constant battle always going. And so now that I'm taking the time, now that I'm actually getting the help from a personal trainer and being very honest with him about what I'm doing and what I'm trying to do, and I'm taking the time to actually not go hardcore and, take all that anger and energy out on the floor and just like waste it. Like, it's wasted energy, it's wasted fuel. So instead of me doing that, I'm focusing on specific areas. I'm working on control over how many, like the amount or the weight or all that. So I'm slowing down and I'm focusing on it. And in that slowing down and in that focusing and me really going within and trying out and feeling what feels right and what doesn't feel right, we got to talking about what I need to be doing. And I should be eating about 2,000 calories. That scared me. That shouldn't scare me. This is coming from someone that is a trainer, that knows his shit. And like, my mind automatically was like fighting it. I was like, no, I shouldn't be having that many calories. I can't have that many calories. I can't eat that many calories. I'm not that hungry. I'm, like all these different things. And I had to sit with myself for a minute. And I had to be like, why am I fighting having to eat that many calories? It's not that hard, and it's okay. I've seen other influencers. I've seen other people talk about increasing your food intake to, really get the nutrients and the benefits of the food when you're actually working out. And I'm like, all these people can't be wrong, and I'm not an expert. So what's wrong with me? Why am I struggling with this? And I really had to be honest with myself. I really had to sit with myself and say, I'm afraid to eat food. I love food, but it's a love-hate relationship, because when I look at it, that saying like, oh yeah, I just look at cake and, it's on my hips. We believe that shit. We genuinely believe it. So if we genuinely believe that, it's gonna happen, right? So if I'm afraid to eat food because I'm afraid the food's gonna make me fat, guess what? That's what it's gonna do. But I gotta change the way that I think, the way that I believe food is meant for. Food is fuel. And so, therefore, it is meant to help the body, survive, to grow, to have muscle and all of this stuff. And with everything that's going on with this Ozempic shit in Hollywood and everybody else and all that crap, I get why these women are, I understand their mind frame. I get it. Like, I get the body dysmorphia where you don't see the image in your head. In your head, your body image is completely different from what is actually being represented. But it's time we gotta change that shit, right? It's time for us to really, accept ourselves and love ourselves as we are. Now, I'm going to the gym to feel better and to, there was this affirmation that I really loved, is my body is not a project. Think about that. My body is not a project. I'm not trying. Like, you're telling yourself how much you hate yourself, and you're trying to change it, and you're trying to morph it, and like, I don't like this, so I'm gonna just... No. Like, it's time to say, hey, you know what? I love my body. I just want to be healthy. I just want to be physically fit. I want to have better strength. I want to have better balance. I want to have better control. And focus on that instead of like, I want to weigh 100 pounds or like that kind of stuff. And so it's a journey. It's a journey. But why I bring this up is because the fact that you need to challenge those thoughts, because those were thoughts that I had in my head that were sitting there, and they were all down there deep and everything, and it affected a lot of what I was eating, a lot of what I was doing, how I felt. It affected so many different layers of myself just because I was afraid to eat food, and I would feel guilty if I ate too much food, and all of this stuff. Like, it's insane how deep it all goes. And so this is why I say challenge those thoughts, challenge those beliefs. Most of the time, they're not true. They're not true. So, I'm going to leave you right here because got to get back into work. And I love you all. Have a beautiful, blessed day, because you are both beautiful and you are blessed. Keep challenging those thoughts, okay?